I want to welcome you, and I want to extend a heartfelt thank you for overcoming fears of virus and market fluctuations and personal and professional demands to be here with us to learn and to share. I want you to know that my AIIM team and I will not forget you for this, and we will do whatever we can to keep you safe and happy over the next 2.5 days. You'll note in the conference app that we've provided a few resources for you about hand washing hygiene, and all we ask is that you practice safe shakes. Can you do that? But our goals are a little bit loftier than that, and we vow that we're going to tap into the collective wisdom that is with us today to help you solve your most pressing information-centric business problems. And together, let's articulate the value that information plays in our organizations and change the perception of what we do, change the perception of information management from a cost of doing business and Debbie Downer to a key business strategic differentiator. Does that sound okay? Should we do that? Okay, good. That's great. What I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes, many of you have probably heard me say before, because it's the AIIM story. And we've done some work with a powerhouse, a brand strategist named Sasha Strauss. And he says that leading brands don't keep changing their story. Instead, they spend time to really perfect it, and they tell that story over and over again. So we've been telling this story for a few years now, and we'd love it if you adopt it as your own story, in part or in whole, because we think it's a really effective way to talk about why we're here. It's really easy for us who've been in this industry for a long time to get hung up on what we call this. Is it EIM? Is it ECM? Is it content services? And it's really easy for us to get hung up on the technology and chase some shiny objects. But that's not why we're here. That's not the end game. The end game is the mission that we're trying to achieve for our organizations and for our customers and our constituents. And whether you like it or not, you're on a digital transformation journey. We all are, and we're at different places in that journey. And many of you worked with us over the last few years to define digital transformation in information-driven terms, and we really liked what we came up with. But at the very heart of that, and the thing from which everything else flows, is this drive to understand and anticipate our customers and provide the most excellent experience that we possibly can. And that's not always easy for us who've been charged with doing a lot of back-end processing and work to keep the lights on. And I know there are lots of you that wish you'd never hear that term ever again. It means so many different things to different people. It's actually come to mean nothing to a lot of people. But John Newton, I see you right in front, you were at one of our meetings not too long ago, and you shared with us some research that you all had done with Forbes magazine. And I think it helps put things into perspective. When Forbes looked at true digital transformation leaders, organizations who were really well on their way towards that digital transformation destination, there was one characteristic that really stood out. And those businesses were the ones that made it easy to do business with. So I started asking myself, some of you in the US know there's some commercial for office supply that has the easy button. Well, there's really no such thing, but I started asking myself, what does easy mean? And I think it's two things. One, the product or service that you're providing has got to be easy, in that it's got to simplify people's lives or enhance it in some way. It's got to take the friction out of something that is everyday, an everyday hassle. The second thing is in the delivery. Your delivery and your customer's consumption of that product or service. Are you giving it to them in the way that they want it, in the right format, etc.? And when AIM members ask me, Peggy, how do I even get started with digital transformation? Well, we know it's not a big bang, but I recommend that you think about those two easy aspects and pick one, because I don't think organizations can do both very well at the same time. But I ask you to think about these two aspects of digital transformation and easy as you go through the sessions for the next few days. And you're going to be hearing stories that will lend itself one or the other. And I ask you, I challenged my own team at AIM to think, is it easier to build a better mousetrap, or is it easier to do a better job of delivering the mousetrap that we already have? So think about that. We're going to help you. In your swag bags is something that's actually a throwback. You know, we've prided ourselves on having a paper-free conference, but we've gone analog, and we provided you with something called the Intelligent Information Management Playbook. And experts will tell you that if you actually write something down, and many of you have learned that from personal journals or gratitude journals, you actually remember those things and they're more impactful for you. So the IIM Playbook is yours. It's your tool. I invite you to use it during the next few days. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know that all of our tracks, all of our different session tracks are aligned with the 4 intelligent information management domains of knowledge. And those are the same domains on which we test you if you decide to pursue the CIP, AIM's Certified Information Professional designation. And how about a little shout out for the folks who took that exam today and passed? Woohoo! Welcome to that esteemed club. But please use the playbook. Please use the AIM Playbook as you go through the next few days, and that is yours to take home with you so that you've got an action plan. And my team and I want to take a very personal role in your digital transformation journey. We're going to support you with some things after you leave Dallas, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how we're going to do that when we're together on Thursday. Okay, so please use the playbook. Ultimately, I think that digital transformation is about doing things differently and doing different things. So when we see disruptors in all kinds of places, all kinds of industries, and we see that they are introducing new transformative business models, what does that say about us? And what kind of questions do we look reflectively and internally about our own businesses? I often ask, what's the business that we're in? What's our product and service? And what's our mission? To me, those are so much more interesting conversations to have than, what technology did we apply or what policy did we apply? Because I think we get to those things. We get to where information management can help us get to that if we can focus on what is our mission. And people always ask my family and friends, like, what is it you do? Oh, you're in information management. And I say, well, actually, that's the industry we serve. Well, you're an association, you're a not-for-profit, you're in association management. Well, no, that's our framework. When I look at what AIIM's role in our mission is, it's to connect people. It's connecting people with information. We bring those of you who have some issues together with people who have answers. We bring the buyers and the sellers of information management solutions together. And that's our mission. And that really helps solidify and clarify where we need to focus our information management attention. And let me give you just a few examples of people that have changed the conversation around to mission-critical kind of work. Now, some of you might have remembered meeting someone named Raphael Moscatel. When he was head of governance at Farmers Insurance, he was chosen to be part of a project, and it was an in-car driver safety diagnostic tool. And Raphael said, a light bulb went on in my head when I realized that to be really impactful and to get impactful work on this project, I had to take off my governance and my privacy and my compliance hat, and I had to put on a different hat that got us to what our ultimate goal was. And what was our ultimate goal? Keeping people out of accidents, car accidents. And he said, if I had put my compliance hat on, I would have completely missed the opportunity to engage with my customers and have them engage with me. He said, we weren't building a privacy solution. We were building a driver safety solution that just happened to have privacy and compliance built in. Does that make sense? And AIIM's recent research showed that 58% of you realize that you can be part of some really impactful projects when you learn to change those conversations and view things like governance as an ingredient, a very important ingredient, but of a higher cost. Raphael and his wife, Abby, are actually writing a book about not only his experience in coming up with this realization of changing conversations and changing proof points when it comes to information management, but they've sought out many of you, other leaders who have made that change and made that leap. And you're going to get to meet 4 of them tomorrow and be part of a really intimate conversation to find out how they got to where they are. So we're in for a real treat there, and we want to offer all of you a free copy of the book when it comes out. So that's super exciting. We've done some work with a futurist named Michael Moon. And Michael would say that the world tomorrow, when we talk about tomorrow's jobs today and what skills are really, really in demand and how we can fill those particular needs, he says that the world ultimately rewards those who play to their individual strengths, but parlay that into high-performing teams. And those teams know that their principles and their optics get them through goalposts, get them to the goalposts that are continually changing. And that's where our Thursday morning keynote speaker comes into play. Dr. Michelle Rosen has worked with teams for many, many years and the change management element of teams. I know in looking at what you all told us you really wanted to focus some attention on over these next few days. We can't underestimate the impact of getting stakeholder buy-in. How do you get colleagues? How do you get your executives to appreciate what you're trying to do? And we need to do that with that higher goal in mind. But Dr. Rosen is going to help us do that. How do we surround ourselves with the right people and motivate them to move these mission-critical projects forward? But now it is my personal privilege to introduce what I'm calling our first of our keynote inspirationalist. And I can't wait to introduce to you Mr. Garth Jordan. Garth provides us with a very important message. And I heard his message a few months ago, and let me tell you, running just a 16-person organization as AIM, his advice to start with simple really resonated with me, because we have made the mistake of pursuing, perfect, as they say, which is the enemy of the good, and have overcomplicated things. Garth says that no great new idea ever sprang from an overcomplicated complex. And he provides us with some amazing examples, including biomimicry, where patterns and math can dictate some very, very simple ways for us to get started. And Garth really knows what he's talking about. He's actually the Vice President of Strategy for another association. This one is the Healthcare Financial Management Association, and Garth leads a lot of his teams on new program and product development. So you're going to see some amazing and mind-blowing patterns that actually have very simple basis for their ability to create some really innovative things. So please join me, put your hands together for Mr. Garth Jordan.